The needle slips through silk like a whisper. Elena Vasquez doesn't even look down anymore. 23 years of sewing means her fingers know the way by heart. The late afternoon sun streams through the grimy window of her tiny shop, illuminating dust motes that dance in the air like tiny stars. She's working on Mrs. Chen's daughter's quinceañera dress, racing against a deadline that's already passed. The dress should have been finished yesterday, but Elena had to choose between buying thread or buying dinner, and hunger won. She found the thread this morning, though. In a box of donations someone left outside St. Mary's Church. Pale pink, almost the right shade. Close enough that Mrs. Chen probably won't notice in the dim lighting of the banquet hall. Elena's stomach growls, reminding her that finding the thread didn't solve the dinner problem. She ignores it. She's good at ignoring things. The stack of overdue bills on her desk. The eviction notice taped to her apartment door upstairs. The way her mother's medications cost more than Elena makes in a month. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I love hearing from you. Her phone buzzes. She doesn't look. It's probably another bill collector, and she's already talked to them 3 times today. The story never changes. I'll pay you when I can, I promise. Please just give me more time. Time. That's the one thing Elena never has enough of. The shop door opens with a jangling bell that makes Elena jump, her needle stabbing into her thumb. Blood wells up, bright red against her pale skin. She sucks on her thumb and looks up, ready to apologize for being closed, even though it's only 4 in the afternoon and the sign clearly says she's open until 6. The man who walks through the door doesn't belong here. That's Elena's first thought. He belongs in boardrooms, in penthouses, in places where the air smells like expensive cologne instead of fabric sizing and desperation. He's tall, well over 6 feet, with dark hair silvered at the temples. His suit is charcoal gray and fits him like it was painted on, probably custom-made by someone who charges more for a jacket than Elena makes in 6 months. Everything about him screams power, from his Italian leather shoes to the way he holds himself, like the world exists to make room for him. Behind him, 2 men follow. They're built like brick walls, dressed in black suits that strain across their shoulders. Their eyes sweep the small shop like they're cataloging exits and threats. Earpieces glint in their ears. Elena's heart starts to race. She knows this kind of man. Everyone in this neighborhood knows this kind of man. She grew up seeing them on corners, in cars with tinted windows, escorting people who didn't need to follow the same rules as everyone else. "We're closed," Elena says, but her voice comes out small and uncertain. The man stops in the middle of the shop, and his eyes land on her with an intensity that makes her breath catch. They're dark, almost black, and they see everything. Elena feels stripped bare under that gaze, like he can read every secret she's ever kept. "Your sign says you're open." His voice is deep, controlled, with the faintest trace of an Italian accent that speaks of old money and older traditions. I'm sorry. I'm very busy right now and I need help." He says it simply, but there's something in his tone that makes it clear he's not used to asking for anything. Men like him don't ask. They command, and the world obeys. Elena's fingers tighten around the quinceañera dress. What kind of help? He reaches into his jacket, and Elena's whole body tenses. But what he pulls out isn't a weapon. It's fabric. White fabric that catches the light as he unfolds it. A wedding dress. No, not a wedding dress. Elena's professional eye immediately recognizes it as a bodice, unfinished, with lace appliques half-sewn and beading that stops mid-pattern. The work is exquisite, clearly custom, but it's incomplete. The woman making this died 3 days ago, he says, and there's no emotion in his voice, but his hands are careful with the fabric in a way that speaks of respect. Heart attack. She was 78 years old, and the only seamstress my mother trusted. The wedding is in 2 weeks. Elena takes the bodice carefully, her fingers automatically assessing the work. It's museum-quality craftsmanship. Vintage lace, hand-sewn beading, silk so fine it feels like water. Whoever started this was a master. Whose wedding? Does it matter? It does. Elena knows it does. But she also knows that question has already been answered by the presence of the bodyguards, by the weight of his gaze, by the danger that clings to him like expensive cologne. "Who are you?" The man's lips curve into something that isn't quite a smile. Victor Castellano. The name hits Elena like a physical blow. Everyone in Chicago knows the Castellano name. They own half the city, control businesses both legitimate and otherwise. They're the family people whisper about and never cross. And Victor Castellano isn't just part of that family. He's the head. The man who sits at the center of a web of power and violence that stretches across the entire Midwest. I can't help you, Elena says immediately, trying to hand the bodice back. You haven't heard what I'm offering. I don't care what you're offering. I won't. $50,000. The words stop Elena mid-sentence. She stares at him, certain she misheard. What? $50,000 to finish the dress. In cash, half now, half on delivery. Victor's eyes never leave hers. I've been to 8 shops today. 6 refused outright when they heard my name. The other 2 quoted me prices that were insults wrapped in fear. You're the 9th seamstress I've approached, and you're my last option. Elena's mind is racing. $50,000. That's more than she makes in 2 years. That's her mother's medications for the next 6 months. That's the eviction notice, torn up. That's breathing room, maybe for the first time in her adult life. But it's also Victor Castellano, a man who built an empire on things Elena doesn't want to think about. A man whose name makes people cross themselves and look away. Why me? Elena asks. If 6 shops refused and 2 tried to rip you off, what makes you think I'll say yes? Because you haven't said no yet. Victor takes a step closer, and Elena's back presses against her work table. He's not touching her, not threatening her, but his presence fills the small shop like smoke. And because I did my research, Elena Vasquez, 29 years old. Born and raised in this neighborhood, your mother taught you to sew when you were 5. By 12 you could recreate any design from a single photograph. You've been running this shop since your father died 7 years ago, taking care of your mother who has advanced MS. You're 3 months behind on rent, 2 months behind on utilities, and you have $1,700 in your bank account. Elena's face burns with humiliation and anger. You had no right. I had every right. I don't do business with people I haven't vetted. Victor's voice is matter of fact, not cruel, which somehow makes it worse. You're drowning, Miss Vasquez. I'm offering you a lifeline. All you have to do is take it. And if I don't? Then I leave, and you go back to trying to stretch donated thread across a deadline you've already missed. Victor glances at the quinceañera dress on her table. Mrs. Chen is going to be disappointed when her daughter's dress isn't ready on time. She might not pay you. Probably won't, given that you've already broken your agreement. And then you'll be even further behind, won't you? The casual accuracy of his assessment makes Elena's chest tight. He's right, about all of it. She's drowning, has been drowning for years, and she's so tired of fighting to keep her head above water. Why does this dress matter so much to you? Elena asks. You could fly in a designer from anywhere, Milan, Paris, New York. People who would kill for your business. Something flickers in Victor's eyes. Not quite pain, but close. My sister is getting married. She's the youngest, the baby of the family. When she was 13, our mother took her to see Signora Martinelli, the woman who made this dress. My mother told Maria that when she got married, Signora would make her dress, just like she made mother's and our oldest sister's. It was a promise. He pauses, and Elena sees it then. Beneath the power and control, beneath the danger, there's a man who loves his sister enough to walk into 9 hostile shops in one day. My mother died 2 years ago, Victor continues. Maria has been planning this wedding for 18 months, and the only thing she insisted on was that Signora make her dress. When Signora died, Maria locked herself in her room and cried for 6 hours. She said she'd rather cancel the wedding than wear anything else. So you're trying to keep your mother's promise, Elena says softly. I'm trying to give my sister the wedding she deserves. Victor's jaw tightens. I can't bring back my mother or Signora Martinelli. But I can make sure this dress is finished by someone with the skill to honor their work. Elena looks down at the bodice in her hands. The stitching is immaculate, the pattern intricate. Whoever started this poured their heart into it. To leave it unfinished feels like a betrayal of that craft. I'd need to see the full design, Elena says. Sketches, measurements, the complete vision for the dress. Victor nods to one of his men, who immediately produces a leather portfolio. Signora's complete plans. Every detail, every measurement. My sister hasn't changed her weight or measurements since the fittings began. Elena opens the portfolio, and her breath catches. The sketches are beautiful. A classic A-line silhouette, with a fitted bodice, sweetheart neckline, and a flowing skirt that would move like water. The lace appliques are meant to cascade down from the bodice to the hem, creating an effect like falling flowers. The beading pattern is complex, designed to catch light and sparkle with every movement. It's a masterpiece. Or it will be, if someone can finish it properly. 2 weeks isn't a lot of time, Elena says, still studying the sketches. I'm aware. I'd have to put aside all my other work, disappoint other customers. I'll compensate them. Give me a list of everyone you have commitments to, and I'll have my people ensure they're taken care of. Victor's voice is certain. Like, this is already decided. You won't lose business or reputation because you helped me. Elena looks up at him. You're very sure I'm going to say yes. You'd be a fool to say no. And I don't think you're a fool, Miss Vasquez. There's something in the way he says it, a note of respect that Elena doesn't expect. He's not treating her like she's beneath him, despite the obvious gulf between their circumstances. He's treating her like she's intelligent enough to recognize an opportunity when it's offered. $50,000, Elena says. Half now, half on delivery, in cash, and you compensate any customers I have to reschedule. Done. And I need materials. This lace, the beading, the silk for the skirt. I'll need the highest quality, and I'll need it fast. Make a list. I'll have everything delivered within 3 hours. Victor pulls out his phone. Give me your number. I'll text you mine. If you need anything, day or night, you call. Elena rattles off her number, still half convinced this is a fever dream brought on by hunger and stress. Victor's phone buzzes in her hand as he texts her. When she looks down, there's a message. This is Victor Castellano. Save this number. The money, Elena says. The first half. How? Victor nods to one of his bodyguards, who steps forward with a briefcase. He sets it on Elena's work table, flips the latches, and opens it to reveal neatly banded stacks of $100 bills. Elena has never seen that much money in one place. Her hands shake as she reaches out, then stops. Is this real? Count it if you want. Victor's voice is neutral. But I don't cheat people who work for me, Miss Vasquez. When I make an agreement, I keep it. Elena forces herself to close the briefcase. If she starts counting, she'll lose her nerve. I'll need you to leave now. I have to start planning the construction, figuring out the best approach. Of course. Victor turns to leave, then pauses at the door. One more thing. You'll need protection while you have that money in your shop. I'll take it to the bank. Banks are closed. It's after 5. Victor's eyes meet hers, and there's something dark in them. Something that reminds Elena exactly who she's dealing with. This neighborhood has eyes, Miss Vasquez. Word will spread that you received a briefcase from my men. People will speculate about what's inside. Some might decide to find out for themselves. Fear prickles down Elena's spine. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that Marco stays. Victor gestures to the slightly younger of his 2 bodyguards. He'll watch your shop tonight. Make sure no one bothers you. Tomorrow, we'll arrange proper security for the duration of the project. I don't need a babysitter. No, you need someone who will break the hands of anyone stupid enough to try to rob you. Victor's voice is cold, matter of fact. Marco doesn't sleep much anyway. Consider it part of the service. Elena wants to argue, but the rational part of her brain knows he's right. $25,000 in cash, in this neighborhood, in her tiny shop with its flimsy locks. It's an invitation to disaster. Fine, Elena says, but he stays downstairs. I live upstairs, and I don't want... Marco knows how to be invisible. You won't even know he's there. Victor's lips curve into that almost smile again. Unless someone tries to bother you. Then you'll know exactly where he is. Victor leaves with 1 bodyguard, and Marco settles into a chair by the window with the kind of stillness that suggests he could sit there for days without moving. Elena locks the door behind them, flips the sign to closed, and stands in the middle of her shop with a briefcase full of cash and a wedding dress that might save or ruin her life. She doesn't sleep that night. She spreads Signora Martinelli's sketches across her work table, studies every line, every detail. She examines the unfinished bodice with her jeweler's loupe, analyzing the stitching technique, the way the lace is attached, the pattern of the beading. She needs to understand not just what Signora was making, but how she thought, how she approached the work. By 3 a.m, Elena has a plan. By 4, she started a detailed material list. By 5, she's sketched out a construction timeline that makes her stomach clench with anxiety because it's tight, so tight, with no room for error. At 6, someone knocks on her door. Elena jumps, her heart racing, until she remembers Marco. She hurries downstairs to find him standing at the door with a woman carrying multiple garment bags and boxes. "Delivery," the woman says cheerfully. "Mr. Castellano said you needed supplies?" Elena stares. "I haven't even sent him the list yet," he guessed. The woman starts bringing in boxes. Alençon lace in ivory, champagne and cream. 3 different weights of silk, beading in 4 sizes, crystal and pearl, thread in every shade you might need, interfacing, boning, tulle, organza. If something's missing, call the number on the card and we'll have it here within an hour. It takes 20 minutes to bring everything in. When the woman leaves, Elena's small shop is filled with thousands of dollars worth of materials, all top quality, all exactly what she would have ordered if she'd had. Unlimited budget. Victor Castellano might be dangerous, but he's also thorough. Elena makes coffee and starts working. She barely notices when the sun rises, when the neighborhood wakes up around her. She's lost in the rhythm of her craft, her hands moving with practiced precision as she begins constructing the skirt. At noon, her phone rings. Victor's name appears on the screen. "Miss Vasquez, how is the work progressing?" "Fine. Good. The materials you sent are perfect." Elena tucks the phone between her ear and shoulder, not stopping her work. "I'm starting with the skirt because it's the most straightforward. The bodice is going to take more time." "I expected that. Maria wants to come by tomorrow to meet you, if that's acceptable." Elena's hands still. "Your sister wants to meet me?" She's curious about the woman finishing her dress, and she'll need a final fitting anyway. Victor's voice is calm, but Elena hears the subtext. "This isn't really a request. She'll come in the afternoon around 2. Will that work?" "Yes, of course." "Good. Marco will remain with you until the dress is complete. If you need anything at all, tell him, and it will be handled. Mr. Castellano Victor." The casual use of his first name feels too intimate, too personal. Elena swallows. "Victor, thank you for the materials. And for understanding about my other customers. You're doing me a favor, Miss Vasquez. The least I can do is make your work easier." He pauses. "I'll check in again tomorrow." He hangs up before Elena can respond. She goes back to work, but her mind keeps drifting to that phone call. To the way he said anything at all like he meant it. To the casual assumption that she'd be available when his sister wanted to visit. This is what it means to work for Victor Castellano. He doesn't make requests. He arranges reality to suit his needs, and people adapt or get out of the way. Elena should be angry about that. Instead, she finds herself wondering what it would be like to have that kind of power, to speak and watch the world rearrange itself around your words. She's never had power. She's spent her whole life adapting, surviving, making do with scraps and hope. The idea of commanding instead of asking is intoxicating and terrifying in equal measure. That afternoon, Elena forces herself to take a break. She goes upstairs to check on her mother, who's having a good day, alert and talkative. Elena doesn't mention the money or the dress or the bodyguard sitting in her shop. She just sits with her mother and listens to stories about her grandmother, who was also a seamstress. "You have her hands," her mother says, touching Elena's fingers. "Strong and sure. She could make anything beautiful, that woman. Even when we had nothing, she made sure we looked dignified. You taught me that," Elena says. "I taught you the technique. Your grandmother taught you the heart." Her mother's eyes are sharp despite the disease ravaging her body. "Whatever you're working on now, whatever has you so focused you forgot to eat breakfast, pour your heart into it, mija. That's how you honor the craft." Elena kisses her mother's forehead and goes back downstairs. The dress is spread across her table, and she looks at it with fresh eyes. Pour your heart into it. She can do that. For $50,000, for a bride she's never met, for a man who terrifies and intrigues her in equal measure, she can create something beautiful. Elena works through the night again, and this time Marco brings her food without being asked. Coffee and empanadas from the bodega 2 blocks over. He doesn't speak, just sets them on the corner of her table and returns to his post. She eats while she works, and the food tastes better than anything she's had in months, possibly because she's not wondering how she'll pay for it. The next afternoon at precisely 2 o'clock, a car pulls up outside Elena's shop. Marco straightens his hand moving to his jacket in a gesture that Elena now recognizes as checking his weapon, but when the door opens, it's not a threat. It's a young woman, maybe 25, with dark hair and Victor's eyes. She's beautiful in the way of people who've never worried about money, wearing designer clothes with casual elegance. Behind her, Victor emerges from the car. If you're hooked on this story, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Your support means everything and helps me bring you more emotional stories like this one. He's in another perfect suit, this one navy, and when his eyes meet Elena's through the window, she feels that same electric shock of awareness. "Miss Vasquez," Maria Castellano says as she enters the shop, and her voice is warm, excited. "I've been dying to meet you. Victor said you're the one who's going to save my wedding. I'm going to finish your dress," Elena says carefully. "I don't know about saving anything." "Same thing." Maria moves to the table where the dress is laid out, and her eyes fill with tears. "Oh God, it's really happening. I was so afraid, after Señora died, that I'd have to wear something else, something that wasn't hers and Mama's vision." Elena glances at Victor, who's standing by the door with Marco. His face is impassive, but his eyes are on his sister, with unmistakable affection. "Your brother showed me Señora's sketches," Elena says. "I'm following them exactly. Nothing will be changed unless you want it changed." "I don't want anything changed. I want it exactly as Señora planned." Maria wipes her eyes carefully, mindful of her makeup. "Can I try on the bodice? Just to see?" "Of course." Elena helps Maria into the unfinished bodice, carefully pinning it to fit her frame. The girl is tiny, barely 5 feet tall, with a dancer's build. The bodice fits perfectly, which suggests Signora's measurements were precise. "It's beautiful," Maria whispers, looking at herself in Elena's full-length mirror. "Even unfinished, it's beautiful. It will be more beautiful when it's done." Elena adjusts the drape of the lace. "The beading will catch the light when you move, and the way the appliques flow down to the skirt will create this effect like you're wearing flowers." Maria turns, studying herself from every angle. "Victor said you're very talented. He barely knows my work. He knows people. He's never wrong about people." Maria meets Elena's eyes in the mirror. "He said you're the only seamstress in Chicago who could finish this dress properly. That means you're the best." Elena doesn't know how to respond to that. She busies herself with adjusting pins, marking a few spots where the fit could be better. "Can I ask you something?" Maria's voice drops lower. "Are you afraid of him? Of Victor?" Elena's hands still. She glances toward the door, where Victor is standing with Marco, close enough to hear if they raise their voices. "Should I be? Most people are. He's very good at being intimidating." Maria's smile is fond. "But he's also the best man I know. He raised me after our parents died. Made sure I went to college. Had everything I needed. He's protective and controlling and sometimes infuriating, but he's never cruel. He seems to care about you very much." "He does. And he cares about this dress because I care about it." Maria looks at Elena directly. "So if you need anything at all, just ask. He'll move mountains to make sure you have what you need." There's a warning in those words, gentle but clear. Don't disappoint her. Don't fail. The consequences won't be stated, but they'll be real. Elena nods. "I won't let you down." "I know." Maria squeezes Elena's hand. "I can tell. You have good hands. Señora would approve." After Maria leaves, Victor lingers. Marco takes his sister to the car, leaving Victor and Elena alone in the shop for the first time since that first meeting. "She likes you," Victor says. "I barely spoke to her. Maria has good instincts about people. If she likes you, it means you're trustworthy." Victor moves closer, and Elena's pulse quickens. "That's good. Because I'm trusting you with something precious to me. The dress. My sister's happiness." Victor's eyes are intense, dark enough to drown in. Maria has been through enough. Our parents' deaths. The way people treat her when they find out who she is. The fear that she'll marry someone who wants the Castellano name more than he wants her. This wedding, this dress, it's supposed to be the one pure thing in her life that isn't touched by my world. Elena swallows. "I understand." "Do you?" Victor takes another step closer, and Elena can smell his cologne now, something expensive and subtle. "Because I'm not sure you do. I'm not sure you understand what I'm trusting you with." "Then tell me." "I'm trusting you with my sister's joy, with the last promise my mother made, with the fragile hope that sometimes good things can still exist in the life my family has built." Victor's voice drops lower, intimate. "I don't trust easily, Miss Vasquez. But I'm trusting you." The weight of that trust settles over Elena like a physical thing. She wants to step back, to create distance. but she's frozen by the intensity of his gaze. "I won't break that trust," Elena says. "No," Victor says quietly. "I don't think you will." He leaves then, and Elena stands in the middle of her shop, her heart racing, her hands trembling slightly. She tells herself it's the pressure of the job, the fear of disappointing him, but she knows it's more than that. Victor Castellano is dangerous, not just because of who he is or what he does, but because of the way he makes her feel, seen, valued, important. Elena has spent her whole life being invisible, being the girl people overlook because she's not rich or powerful or special. But when Victor looks at her, she doesn't feel invisible. She feels like the only person in the room, and that's more dangerous than any weapon he could carry. The dress takes shape over the next week, like a living thing growing under Elena's hands. She works, 16-hour days, barely stopping to eat or sleep. Marco remains a constant silent presence, and Elena grows strangely comfortable with him there. He doesn't speak much, but he keeps her fed, makes sure she takes breaks, and once, when she pricked her finger badly enough to bleed on expensive silk, he appeared with a first aid kit before she could even ask. Victor calls every day, sometimes twice a day. At first, the calls are about the dress. Progress updates, questions about materials, scheduling the next fitting with Maria. But gradually, the conversations shift. "How is your mother?" Victor asks one evening. Elena pauses, surprised. "She's good. Having more alert days this week. That's good. MS is unpredictable. You know about MS? I know about a lot of things." There's a pause. "My mother had it too. In the last years. That's partly why Maria was so close to her. Why this dress matters so much. Maria spent years watching our mother deteriorate. This dress represents the time before, when mother was still herself." Elena's throat tightens. "I didn't know. Why would you? But I wanted you to understand. This isn't just about vanity or tradition. It's about holding on to the person we lost before we actually lost her." After he hangs up, Elena looks at the dress with new eyes. Every stitch matters. Every bead, every fold of lace. This isn't just a wedding dress. It's a memory made tangible, a promise kept beyond death. She works with even more care after that. On the 8th day, Elena is hand-sewing beads when her shop door opens without warning. She looks up, expecting Marco to stop whoever it is, but Marco is on the floor, blood pooling beneath his head. 3 men enter the shop. They're dressed in expensive suits, but there's nothing refined about them. They radiate violence. "Elena Vasquez?" The one in front is tall, with a scar running down his left cheek. "We need you to come with us." Elena's mind races. She looks at Marco, who's not moving, and terror floods through her. "Who are you? Friends of a friend. Benedetti friends." The scarred man smiles, and it's not friendly. "Victor Castellano has been making moves in territory that doesn't belong to him. We're going to convince him to back off." The Benedettis. Elena has heard the name. They're rivals to the Castellanos, another crime family fighting for control of Chicago's underworld. "I don't have anything to do with that," Elena says, trying to keep her voice steady. "You have everything to do with it. You're working for Castellano. That makes you his." The scarred man gestures to his companions. "You can come quietly, or we can make this difficult." Elena's eyes dart to the dress spread across her table, to her phone, sitting just out of reach. To Marco, who still hasn't moved. She grabs her scissors and holds them up. "Stay back." The men laugh. "What are you going to do with those? Hem us to death?" One of them moves forward, and Elena does something she never thought she'd do. She drives the scissors toward him, aiming for his arm. He catches her wrist easily, twisting until she cries out and drops the scissors. "Stupid," he mutters, and backhands her across the face. Elena's head snaps to the side, pain exploding across her cheekbone. She tastes blood. The men grab her arms, dragging her toward the door. That's when Marco moves. He's not dead, Elena realizes. He was waiting, assessing, choosing his moment. He comes up from the floor like an unleashed animal, and suddenly everything is chaos. Marco fights with brutal efficiency. One man goes down with a crushed windpipe. Another screams as his knee bends the wrong way. But there are 3 of them and only one Marco, and he's already injured from whatever they did to take him by surprise. The scarred man pulls a gun, and Elena screams, "No!" The shot is deafening in the small shop. Marco staggers but doesn't fall. He launches himself at the scarred man, and they go down in a tangle of limbs and violence. Elena runs. Not away from the shop, but to her desk, where her phone is sitting. She dials Victor's number with shaking hands. He answers on the first ring. Elena? They're here. The Benedettis. They tried to take me, and Marco's hurt, and there's blood everywhere. Where are you? My shop. I'm still in my shop. Lock yourself in the bathroom. Now. Don't come out until I get there. Victor's voice is deadly calm. I'm 5 minutes away. Elena runs to the tiny bathroom at the back of her shop and locks the door. She can hear fighting still, crashes and grunts of pain. Another gunshot makes her flinch, pressing herself into the corner. She doesn't know how long she waits. It feels like hours, but is probably only minutes. Then she hears a voice, strong and commanding. Elena, it's Victor. Open the door. Elena's hands shake so badly she can barely turn the lock. When the door opens, Victor is standing there, and the rage in his eyes is terrifying. But when he looks at her, when he sees the blood on her face and the fear in her eyes, something in his expression shifts. Did they hurt you? His voice is gentle, at odds with the violence still crackling in the air around him. One of them hit me, but Marco's alive. He'll survive. Victor reaches out slowly, giving Elena time to pull back. When she doesn't, he touches her cheek carefully, his fingers gentle on her bruised skin. I'm going to take care of this, but first, I need to get you somewhere safe. The dress. Elena says, I need to bring the dress. I can't leave it. I'll have my people pack everything carefully. Every piece of material, every tool. It will all be moved to a secure location. Victor's hand is still on her face, and Elena finds herself leaning into the touch despite everything. You're not coming back here. Not until the Benedettis are dealt with. I live here, my mother. Your mother is being moved right now to a private facility, the best care available. She'll be safe and comfortable. Victor's eyes are intense. And you're coming with me. I don't understand. Why would they come after me? I'm nobody. You became somebody the moment you agreed to help me. Victor's voice is hard. The Benedettis are testing me, seeing if they can hurt what's mine. They chose wrong. What's mine? The possessive certainty in those words should frighten Elena. Instead, something in her chest tightens with an emotion she doesn't want to examine. I didn't ask for this, Elena whispers. I know, and I'm sorry. But you're in it now, and I protect what's mine. Victor drops his hand from her face but doesn't step back. Will you come with me? Elena looks around her shop. At the blood on the floor, at the overturned furniture, at the shattered glass from her front window, at the dream she built with her own hands, now violated by violence she didn't invite. She looks back at Victor, at the man who brought this danger to her door but who's also the only reason she's still alive. Do I have a choice? Yes. Victor's answer surprises her. You always have a choice, Elena. I can arrange protection for you here if you want to stay. But I'm asking you to trust me. Come to my home. Finish the dress there. Let me keep you safe. Trust him. Elena barely knows him. But she knows that he kept his word about the money, about the materials, about everything he's promised so far. She knows that he's the reason Marco fought 3 armed men to protect her. She knows that when he touches her face, it's gentle despite the violence in his eyes. Okay, Elena says. I'll come with you. Victor's entire body seems to relax, though his expression doesn't change. Thank you. He leads her out of the shop. Elena tries not to look at the men on the floor, at the blood and violence that transformed her safe space into a war zone. Outside, 3 black SUVs are waiting, and men in suits are moving with military precision, securing the area. Victor guides Elena to the middle SUV, his hand on the small of her back. The gesture feels protective, possessive. When they're inside and the door closes, shutting out the chaos, Elena finally lets herself shake. I thought they were going to kill me, she says. They weren't going to kill you. They were going to take you, hurt you enough to get my attention, then use you as leverage. Victor's voice is matter of fact, but there's fury underneath. They would have kept you alive because a dead hostage has no value. Somehow, that doesn't make Elena feel better. This is my fault, Victor continues. I should have anticipated this. The Benedettis have been aggressive lately, pushing into territory that's traditionally been neutral. I knew they were looking for a way to provoke me. I should have realized they'd target anyone I showed interest in. You showed interest in finishing a dress. I showed interest in you. Victor turns to look at her, and the intensity in his gaze makes Elena's breath catch. I called you every day. I made sure you had everything you needed. I stationed one of my best men to guard you. The whole city knows by now that Victor Castellano has a seamstress under his protection. That makes you valuable to my enemies. I didn't ask to be valuable. No, you didn't. But you are. Victor reaches out and takes her hand, and Elena is too shocked to pull away. His hand is warm, his grip firm but not painful. And I take care of what's valuable to me. The drive to Victor's home takes 20 minutes. Moving from Elena's working-class neighborhood through increasingly affluent areas until they're in a part of Chicago Elena has only seen in magazines. Victor's house isn't a house. It's a compound. High walls surround the property, topped with cameras and what Elena suspects is more sophisticated security than it appears. The gate opens smoothly, and they drive through into a world Elena has never experienced. The main house is a sprawling modern mansion, all glass and steel and clean lines. Gardens surround it, perfectly manicured even in early spring. A fountain dominates the circular driveway, water dancing in the evening light. This is where you live? Elena asks, her voice small. This is where we live. Victor corrects. For the next week, until the dress is finished and the Benedetti situation is resolved, this is your home. Home. The word feels wrong applied to this place. Elena's home is a tiny apartment above a shop, with creaky floors and a bathroom where the hot water only lasts 10 minutes. This place looks like a museum, beautiful and untouchable. Victor seems to sense her hesitation. I know it's overwhelming, but you'll have your own suite, your own space. Everything you need to work on the dress will be set up in the sunroom, where the light is best. You're not a prisoner here, Elena. You're a guest. A guest who can't leave. A guest who shouldn't leave, for her own safety. There's a difference. Victor helps her out of the car, and Elena realizes she's still wearing her work clothes, stained with thread and now blood. She's never felt more out of place in her life. Inside, the house is even more impressive. High ceilings, marble floors, artwork that probably costs more than Elena will make in her lifetime. A woman appears, middle-aged and kind-faced, wearing a simple but elegant dress. This is Rosa, Victor says. She manages the household. Rosa, this is Elena Vasquez. She'll be staying with us while she completes a project for Maria's wedding. Rosa's smile is warm, genuine. Welcome, Miss Vasquez. I've prepared the blue suite for you. Would you like me to show you to your room? Elena nods, not trusting her voice. She follows Rosa up a sweeping staircase and down a hallway lined with photographs. Family photos, she realizes. A younger Victor with a beautiful woman who must be his mother. Maria as a little girl, laughing, in someone's arms. An older couple, probably the parents who died. The blue suite is bigger than Elena's entire apartment. There's a bedroom with a king-sized bed, a sitting area with a fireplace, and a bathroom that looks like it belongs in a spa. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlook the gardens, and the late afternoon sun streams through, painting everything gold. I've left some clothes in the closet that should fit you, Rosa says. Dinner is at 7, but if you need anything before then, just pick up the phone and dial 0. It will connect you to me. Thank you, Elena manages. When Rosa leaves, Elena stands in the middle of the suite and tries to process everything that's happened in the last 2 hours. This morning, she was in her shop, working on a dress, worried about nothing more than finishing on time. Now she's standing in a mansion, under the protection of a crime boss, because rival gangsters tried to kidnap her. Her life has become unrecognizable. Elena moves to the bathroom and looks at herself in the mirror. Her cheek is already bruising from where the Benedetti man hit her. There's dried blood at the corner of her mouth. Her hair is a mess, her clothes are ruined, and she looks like she's been through a war. She supposes she has. Elena strips off her ruined clothes and steps into the shower. The water is hot and perfect, and there are more bottles of expensive bath products than she can identify. She stands under the spray and lets herself cry, finally releasing the fear and shock she's been holding back. When she emerges 20 minutes later, she feels slightly more human. She wraps herself in a towel that's softer than any fabric she's ever touched, and goes to the closet to see what Rosa left. The clothes are beautiful, simple but high quality. Soft sweaters, well-cut pants, dresses that look like they'd fit her perfectly. Elena chooses a navy dress and flat shoes, not wanting to deal with heels when her whole world is unstable. At 7 exactly, There's a knock on her door. Elena opens it to find Victor standing there, and he's changed too. He's wearing dark jeans and a white button-down with the sleeves rolled up. Without the armor of a suit, he looks younger, more approachable, but no less dangerous. "How are you feeling?" he asks. "Like my life ended and someone else's began." Elena touches her bruised cheek self-consciously. "How's Marco?" "Concussed, 3 broken ribs, and a through-and-through gunshot wound in his shoulder. But he'll live." Victor's jaw tightens. "He did his job. He protected you. He almost died protecting me. That's what he's paid for, and he's proud that he succeeded." Victor gestures down the hallway. "Come. Let's eat. You must be starving." Elena is starving. She can't remember the last time she ate. She follows Victor down to a dining room that could seat 20 but is set intimately for 2 at one end of a massive table. The meal is exquisite. Homemade pasta with a sauce that tastes like summer, fresh bread, a salad with ingredients Elena can't identify but that taste like they were picked an hour ago. Wine in crystal glasses that catch the chandelier light. "This is too much," Elena says. "This is dinner." Victor watches her eat with an expression she can't read. "Tell me about your mother. How long has she had MS?" 12 years. She was diagnosed when I was 17. Elena takes a sip of wine, grateful for something to do with her hands. It progressed slowly at first. She could still work, still help in the shop. But the last 3 years have been hard. She needs full-time care now. That's a heavy burden for you to carry alone. I'm all she has. My father died when I was 22. No siblings, no other family. It's just us. Elena meets his eyes. "I'm sure you already knew that, though. Since you investigated me." "I did. But I wanted to hear it from you." Victor leans back in his chair. "You've been taking care of her alone for 7 years, working yourself to exhaustion, choosing between food and medicine, falling further behind despite working harder than anyone should have to work. That takes strength. Or stupidity. I could have put her in a state facility, used the money I save on her care for myself. But you didn't. Because you love her. Because you honor your obligations." Victor's eyes are intense. "That's not stupidity, Elena. That's integrity." It's rare. Elena doesn't know what to say to that. She focuses on her food, hyper-aware of Victor watching her. "Tomorrow your work materials will arrive," Victor says. "I had my people pack everything from your shop. Your workspace here will be set up exactly as you need it. If anything is missing, tell me, and it will be procured. Thank you. Don't thank me. This is my fault. The least I can do is make your life easier while I fix the mess I created." Victor's voice hardens. "The Benedettis will be dealt with. They made a mistake coming after you. What are you going to do to them?" Victor's smile is cold. "That's not something you need to worry about." But Elena does worry. Because she's not naive enough to think, "dealt with" means a stern conversation. Men like Victor Castellano don't solve problems with words. After dinner, Victor walks Elena back to her suite. They pause outside her door, and the moment feels strangely intimate, like the end of a date instead of the end of the worst day of Elena's life. "If you need anything tonight, I'm in the East Wing, 3rd door on the left," Victor says, "and there's security throughout the house. You're safe here." "Am I?" Elena looks up at him. "Or am I just in a prettier cage?" "You're safe," Victor says firmly. "I give you my word. No one will hurt you here. What about you? Will you hurt me?" The question hangs between them. Victor's eyes search hers, and Elena sees something flicker there. Surprise, maybe, or respect for her directness. "No," Victor says quietly. "I won't. I hurt you. I protect what's mine, Elena. I don't destroy it." There's that phrase again. What's mine? It should make Elena angry. Being claimed like property. But when Victor says it, it doesn't feel like ownership. It feels like a vow. "Good night, Victor." "Good night, Elena." She goes into her suite and locks the door, then leans against it, her heart racing. This is wrong. All of this is wrong. She shouldn't be attracted to a criminal. Shouldn't feel safe with a man who solves problems with violence. Shouldn't be thinking about the way his eyes softened when he looked at her bruised face. But she is. God help her. She is. Elena climbs into the enormous bed and stares at the ceiling. Tomorrow, she'll work on the dress. She'll focus on the craft, on the deadline, on anything except the way Victor makes her feel. Tomorrow, she'll be professional and distant. Tonight, she lets herself admit the truth. Victor Castellano is dangerous in more ways than one. and Elena is already falling under his spell. The next morning, Elena wakes to sunlight streaming through windows she forgot to close, and the smell of coffee. She sits up, disoriented for a moment, until memory crashes back. Victor's mansion, the Benedettis, the violence in her shop. She showered and dressed in jeans and a soft sweater from the closet, then followed the smell of coffee downstairs. Rosa is in the kitchen, a space that looks like it should be in a cooking magazine, all stainless steel and marble countertops. "Good morning, Miss Vasquez. I hope you slept well." Rosa pours coffee into a delicate cup. "Mr. Castellano asked me to tell you that your workspace is ready. He's waiting to show you." Elena takes the coffee gratefully and follows Rosa's directions to the sunroom. It's at the back of the house, a glass-enclosed space filled with light and green plants. And in the center, a perfect workspace has been set up. Her sewing machine, carefully transported and positioned on a sturdy table. All her materials, organized exactly as she had them. Even the dress, carefully laid out on a custom mannequin that matches Maria's exact measurements. Victor is standing by the windows, looking out at the gardens. He turns when she enters, and Elena's breath catches. In morning light, he's unfairly handsome, his dark hair slightly mussed like he ran his hands through it. "Is everything satisfactory?" he asks. Elena walks around the space, checking details. Everything is perfect, better than perfect. How did they know exactly how I had everything arranged? "I told them to take photographs before packing, to recreate your workspace exactly." Victor moves closer. "You work best in familiar conditions. I wanted to minimize disruption." "That's very thoughtful. I'm a thoughtful man when it comes to things that matter." His eyes are on her face, specifically her bruised cheek. "How do you feel?" "Sore, confused, grateful." Elena sets down her coffee. "I should get to work. The wedding is in 6 days." "About that." Victor pulls out his phone. "Maria wants to postpone." "What? Why?" "Because she knows what happened. She knows you were attacked because of us." Victor's jaw is tight. "She doesn't want you to feel pressured to finish under these circumstances." Elena looks at the dress. At the work she's poured herself into, the promise she made. "No, I'm finishing this dress. I made a commitment." "Elena, no one would blame you. I would blame me." Elena's voice is fierce. "This matters. To Maria, to you, to your mother's memory. I'm not going to let the Benedettis take that away. That would mean they win." Something shifts in Victor's expression. Admiration, maybe, or something deeper. "You're stronger than you look." "I've had to be." Victor nods slowly. "Then I'll tell Maria the wedding stays on schedule. But Elena, if you need anything, if you want to stop at any point, you tell me. Your safety and well-being matter more than a dress. Even if it's your sister's wedding dress? Even then." Victor's voice is certain. Maria would understand. She'd want you safe. After Victor leaves, Elena loses herself in her work. The familiar rhythm of sewing is meditative, calming. She can forget about danger and violence when her hands are moving, when she's creating something beautiful. Hours pass. Rosa brings lunch, then afternoon tea. Elena barely notices. She's hand-sewing beads, each one placed with precision, creating the pattern that will make the dress sparkle and move. She's so focused that she doesn't hear Victor return until he speaks. "You haven't moved in 4 hours." Elena looks up, startled. The light has changed. It's late afternoon now, shadows lengthening across the sunroom. I'm in the zone. This is when the best work happens. Even the best worker needs breaks. Victor is carrying a tray with food. "Rosa said you barely touched lunch." "Eat. I'm not hungry." "Eat anyway." Victor sets the tray on a side table. "Or I'll feed you myself." The threat should be annoying. Instead, Elena finds herself smiling. "You wouldn't dare. Try me." Their eyes meet, and the air between them crackles with something Elena can't name. Tension, yes. But also something warmer. Something that makes her pulse quicken. She sets down her needle and moves to the tray. It's simple food but perfectly prepared. A sandwich on fresh bread, fruit, cheese. She eats while Victor watches, and it should feel uncomfortable, but it doesn't. "Tell me about your family," Elena says. "I know your mother and father died. That Maria is your youngest sister. But what about the rest? There are 4 of us. I'm the oldest. Then Dante, my brother. He runs our operations on the West Coast. Then Gabriella, who's married with 2 kids. And Maria, the baby. Victor's voice softens when he talks about his siblings. After our parents died, keeping the family together became my responsibility. How old were you? 28. Maria was 16. Too young to lose both parents in a car accident. Too young to understand why the world suddenly became about territories and alliances instead of homework and prom. You raised her. I did my best. Made a lot of mistakes. But she turned out okay despite me. Victor leans against the wall, his body language more relaxed than Elena has seen it. She's smart, kind, idealistic. Everything I'm not. You're smart. I'm calculating. That's different. Victor's eyes are on Elena, studying her. You're kind too. It's why you said yes to finishing this dress even though you were terrified of me. I'm not terrified of you. You were. In your shop, that first day, you knew exactly who I was and what I could do. Elena can't deny it. Maybe a little. And now? Now I'm more terrified of what you make me feel. The words slip out before Elena can stop them. Her face flames. I didn't mean, what do I make you feel? Victor's voice is low, intense. Elena could deflect, should deflect, but she's tired of being careful, tired of pretending. Safe, valued, seen. She swallows. Things I shouldn't feel for someone like you, someone like me. Victor pushes off the wall and moves closer. A criminal. A monster. A man with blood on his hands. I didn't say monster, but you thought it. Victor stops in front of her, close enough that Elena can feel the heat of his body. I am what you think I am, Elena. I've killed people. I've ordered deaths. I've built an empire on violence and fear. You should be terrified of me. Then why aren't I? Victor reaches out slowly, giving Elena every chance to pull away. When she doesn't, he cups her bruised cheek with infinite gentleness. Because you see what no one else sees. You see that underneath all of it, I'm just a man trying to protect the people I love. I see more than that. Elena's voice is barely a whisper. I see someone who kept his word. Who made sure my mother is cared for. Who set up my workspace perfectly because he wanted me comfortable. Who calls his sister's dress precious and means it. Don't make me into something I'm not. I'm not. I'm seeing you as you are. Elena covers his hand with hers, holding his palm against her cheek. And that's what scares me most. Because the man I see is someone I could fall for. And that would be the most dangerous thing I've ever done. Victor's eyes darken. Elena, don't. Elena steps back, breaking the contact. Don't say whatever you're about to say. I have 6 days to finish this dress. That's all that matters. After that, I'll go back to my life, and you'll go back to yours, and this moment will just be a moment. And if I don't want it to be just a moment? Elena's heart stutters. You don't mean that. Don't tell me what I mean. Victor's voice is rough. I've been doing this for a week now. Calling you every day, finding excuses to check on your progress. Thinking about you when I should be thinking about business. I told myself it was just about the dress. About making sure my sister's wedding goes perfectly. It is about the dress. It stopped being about the dress the moment you looked at me with those eyes and told me you'd take my money even, though you were afraid. You're brave, Elena. Brave and talented and so determined to do right by everyone that you're drowning in obligations you didn't ask for. Victor takes a breath. I want to help you. Not because you're working for me. Because I can't stop thinking about what it would be like if you were mine for real. The air between them is electric. Elena knows she should step back, put distance between them, remember all the reasons this is a terrible idea. Instead, she steps closer. I don't know how to be yours, Elena says. I don't know how to be part of your world. Then don't be part of my world. Let me be part of yours. Victor's hands come up to frame her face, careful of her bruise. Let me take care of, to you. Let me be the reason you don't have to choose between thread and dinner. Let me give you the life you deserve instead of the one you've been surviving. That sounds like a fantasy. Then let's make it real. Victor kisses her. And Elena's entire world shifts. His lips are soft, gentle, asking permission even as they take. Elena opens for him, and the kiss deepens into something hungry and desperate and perfect. She's never been kissed like this, like she's precious and necessary and the only thing that matters. Victor's hands are in her hair, on her face, pulling her closer. Elena clutches his shirt, needing something to anchor her as the world spins. When they break apart, they're both breathing hard. Victor rests his forehead against hers. Tell me you feel this too. Tell me I'm not alone in this. You're not alone. Elena's voice shakes. I feel it. But Victor, this is crazy. We barely know each other. And your life, it's dangerous. The Benedettis will be handled. I promise you. They will never touch you again. Victor's voice is steel. I should have protected you better the first time. I won't make that mistake again. This isn't your fault. It is, all of it. But I'm gonna make it right. Victor kisses her again, softer this time. Finish the dress. Give my sister the wedding she deserves. And then let me show you what your life could be if you let me in. Elena wants to say yes, wants to ignore every reasonable objection and throw herself into this impossible thing between them. But she's never been reckless, and she can't start now. After the wedding, Elena says, we'll talk about this after the wedding. When the dress is done and Maria is married and we can both think clearly. I'm thinking clearly now. I'm not. And I need to be. This is too important to rush. Elena steps back, needing distance. Please, Victor, give me time. He doesn't look happy about it, but he nods. After the wedding. But Elena, I'm not giving it up. And I'm not letting you convince yourself this isn't real. After he leaves, Elena stands in the sunroom and touches her lips, still feeling the ghost of his kiss. She's in so much trouble. Not from the Benedettis or the violence that follows Victor like a shadow. From her own traitorous heart that's already decided it belongs to him. The next 5 days pass in a blur of work and stolen moments. Elena finishes the dress, each stitch perfect, each bead placed with love. The bodice fits Maria like a dream. The skirt flows like water, and the lace applique create the effect of falling flowers exactly as Signora Martinelli planned. Victor visits the sunroom every day, always finding excuses, bringing food, asking about progress, making sure Elena has what she needs. But really, Elena knows, he's there because he can't stay away. Just like she finds herself working late, hoping he'll stop by one more time before bed. They don't kiss again. But the tension between them builds with every glance, every accidental touch, every conversation that goes deeper than it should. Elena learns about Victor's life in pieces. How he hates violence but accepts it as necessary. How he reads poetry in Italian, the language his mother spoke at home. How he's been trying for years to make the family business more legitimate, but legacy and loyalty keep dragging him back. Victor learns about Elena's dreams. How she wanted to go to design school but couldn't leave her mother. How she sometimes resents the obligation that trapped her even though she loves her mother desperately. How she's afraid she's wasted her talent on hemming pants and fixing torn seams when she could have been creating art. You are creating art, Victor tells her one evening. Every dress you make is art. Don't diminish what you do. I make wedding dresses for brides who can barely afford them. You make dreams come true for people who have nothing else. That's not diminishment. That's a gift. Victor's eyes are serious. Your talent isn't wasted, Elena. It's being shared with people who need beauty in their lives. Elena has never thought about her work that way. It changes something in her, makes her see her craft differently. On the morning of the wedding, Maria comes for her final fitting. She's glowing, radiating happiness despite the chaos of the last 2 weeks. It's perfect. Maria breathes, looking at herself in the mirror. Oh God, Elena, it's perfect. The dress is perfect. It fits Maria like it was painted on, the bodice highlighting her tiny frame, the skirt flowing around her like a waterfall. The beading catches the light with every movement, and the lace appliques create shadows and depth that make the dress look alive. Signora would be proud, Elena says, and she means it. Mama would be proud. Maria turns to Elena with tears in her eyes. Thank you for finishing this, for surviving what you survived to make sure I could have this dress. I know what it cost you. It didn't cost me anything. It cost you your safety, your shop, maybe your peace of mind. The Benedettis came after you because of my family. Maria takes Elena's hands. But Victor will make sure you're protected. He cares about you, you know. More than he's cared about anyone in a long time. Elena's face heats. We barely know each other. My brother doesn't do anything halfway. When he cares completely, and he cares about you. Maria smiles. I'm glad. You're good for him. You make him remember there's more to life than business and obligations. After Maria leaves, Elena packs up her workspace. The dress is done. The wedding is this afternoon. And tonight, Elena will have to decide what happens next. Does she go back to her old life? Back to her shop? assuming the Benedettis have been dealt with. Back to scraping by and surviving and never having enough? Or does she take the leap Victor is offering? Step into his world, with all its danger and luxury, and impossible promises. That evening, Elena stands in her suite getting ready for the wedding. Victor insisted she attend, and Rosa left a dress for her. It's beautiful, emerald green silk that fits perfectly. Elena doesn't want to know how Victor knew her size. There's a knock on her door. When she opens it, Victor is standing there in a tuxedo, and Elena's breath catches. He looks like something out of a movie, dark and dangerous and devastatingly handsome. "You look beautiful," Victor says. "So do you." His smile is real, reaching his eyes. "Come." The car is waiting. The wedding is at a church Elena has seen but never entered, an old stone building that speaks of tradition and history. Inside, it's filled with flowers and candlelight, and people dressed in their finest. Elena sits with Victor in a pew near the front, and she can feel eyes on them. Everyone knows who he is, and now they're wondering who she is. The woman sitting beside Victor Castellano like she belongs there. When Maria walks down the aisle, Elena's breath catches. The dress is perfect, more than perfect. It's everything Signora Martinelli envisioned, everything Victor's mother dreamed of. Maria is radiant, glowing with joy, and when she reaches her groom, the love between them is palpable. Elena feels Victor's hand find hers, his fingers lacing through hers. She looks at him, and the expression on his face makes her chest tight. He's watching his sister with such love, such protective tenderness, that Elena sees it clear as day. This is who Victor really is. Not the crime boss or the dangerous man, but the big brother who raised his siblings after their parents died. The man who kept a promise to his dead mother. The protector who will do anything for the people he loves. And Elena realizes, with a clarity that's both thrilling and terrifying, that she wants to be one of those people. The reception is held at a hotel ballroom, elegant and expensive. Elena stays close to Victor, meeting his family, his associates, the interconnected web of people who make up his world. Everyone is polite to her, respectful. But she sees the curiosity in their eyes, the questions they're too well-mannered to ask. During the father-daughter dance, since their father is gone, Victor dances with Maria. He's gentle with her, smiling at something she says, and Elena's heart aches watching them. When the song ends, Victor comes directly to Elena and offers his hand. "Dance with me." It's not a request. Elena takes his hand and lets him lead her onto the dance floor. When his arm comes around her waist, pulling her close, it feels right in a way nothing else ever has. "She looks happy," Elena says, watching Maria laugh with her new husband. "She is. Thanks to you." Victor's hand tightens on her waist. "You gave her this day, Elena. You kept a promise when no one else could. That matters. I'm glad I could help. I'm glad you trusted me, especially after everything that happened." Victor's eyes are intense. "The Benedettis won't be a problem anymore. I've made arrangements. You can go home if you want. Your shop has been repaired, upgraded actually. New security, new locks. Your mother is settled in the facility, and her care is paid for the next 2 years. Elena's throat tightens. "You didn't have to do all that." "I did. It was my fault you were targeted. This is me making it right." Victor pulls her closer. "But I'm hoping you won't go home. I'm hoping you'll stay." "Stay where?" "With me. In my house, in my life." As my Victor pauses, seeming to search for the right word. "I don't know what to call you. Girlfriend seems too casual. Partner seems too clinical. All I know is I want you beside me. Permanently." Elena's heart is racing. "Victor, we've known each other 2 weeks. I've known what you are from the first moment. The rest is just details." Victor's voice is certain. "I know this is fast. I know I'm asking you to trust me with your entire life. But Elena, I swear to you, I will spend every day proving I'm worthy of that trust. What about your world? The danger, the violence? I'll keep you safe, always. That's a promise." Victor's eyes are fierce. "And I'm working on making the business more legitimate. It won't happen overnight, but I'm trying to build something better. For Maria, for my future children, for the family we could have." Family. The word hits Elena like a physical thing. "You want a family with me?" "I want everything with you. If you'll have me." Elena thinks about her old life. The struggle, the loneliness, the constant fear of not having enough. She thinks about her shop, her mother, the neighborhood she's always known. Then she thinks about the last 2 weeks, about Victor's daily calls and gentle touches, about the way he looked at her bruised face with fury and tenderness, about dancing with him now, his arms strong around her, his eyes promising impossible things. She thinks about the woman she could be if she wasn't always drowning, about the designs she could create if she had resources, about the future she never let herself imagine because it seemed too far out of reach. "Yes," Elena says. "Yes, I'll stay. I'll try this, try us. But Victor, you have to promise me something. Anything. Promise me you'll keep working to go legitimate. Promise me that if we have children, they'll never have to be afraid of their father's business. Promise me you'll choose us over the empire when it matters." Victor stops dancing. Right there in the middle of the floor, he stops and cups her face in his hands. "I promise. On my mother's grave, on everything I am, I promise." He kisses her there, in front of everyone, claiming her publicly. And Elena kisses him back, accepting that claim, accepting him and his world, and all the danger and promise that comes with it. When they break apart, the entire ballroom is watching. But Victor doesn't care. He keeps his arm around Elena and leads her off the dance floor. "Come," he says. "Let's get out of here. We can't leave your sister's wedding. Watch me." Victor's smile is wicked. "Maria will understand." They make their excuses, congratulate Maria one more time, and slip away. In the car, Victor pulls Elena into his arms and kisses her like he's been waiting his entire life for this moment. "I can't believe you said yes," he murmurs against her lips. "I can't believe I did either." Elena laughs, giddy with happiness and fear and hope. "What happens now? Now, we go home, and we start building our life together." Victor's eyes are warm. "I'll show you the world, Elena. Not just my world, but the whole world. Paris, Milan, anywhere you want to go. We'll visit fashion houses, meet designers. I'll invest in your talent, help you build your own brand if that's what you want. You don't have to do all that. I want to. I want to give you everything you've ever been denied." Victor kisses her forehead. "You spent your life taking care of everyone else. Let me take care of you." Elena melts into his embrace, finally letting herself believe this might actually work, that she might get her fairy tale ending after all. That night, in Victor's house that's now their house, Elena stands in front of the windows looking out at the gardens. Victor comes up behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist. "No regrets?" he asks. "A few, but mostly hope." Elena turns in his arms. "Thank you for seeing me, for making me believe I deserve more than survival. You deserve everything." Victor's voice is certain. "And I'm going to spend my life giving it to you." He kisses her, and Elena kisses him back, no longer afraid of falling, because Victor will catch her. He's been catching her since the moment he walked into her shop, and she's going to catch him too. They'll build something beautiful together, something that honors both their worlds. Her craft and his protection, her kindness and his strength. It won't be easy. There will be challenges, conflicts, moments when they doubt. But Elena knows, with the kind of certainty that only comes from a choice freely made, that they'll figure it out, together. 6 months later, Elena stands in a boutique that has her name on the door. Vasquez Designs, in elegant script above a window display featuring her latest creation. The space is small but perfect, in a good neighborhood with proper security. Victor helped her open it, but he didn't control it. This is her business, her dream finally realized. She takes on clients who can pay and clients who can't, because she hasn't forgotten where she came from. Her mother visits sometimes, on her good days. She's still in the care facility Victor arranged, getting the best treatment available. She's proud of Elena, proud of what she's built. "You have your grandmother's hands," her mother says, touching Elena's fingers. "And her heart. She'd be so happy to see you thriving." Elena is thriving. Her designs are getting attention. She has apprentices now, young women she's teaching the craft, passing on what she knows. She's not just surviving anymore, she's building a legacy. At night, she goes home to Victor, to the mansion that now feels like home, filled with laughter and love and the family they're creating. They're not married yet, but they will be. When the time is right, when Victor finishes the work of making the family business legitimate, it's happening slowly. Territories are being sold, operations are being closed. Victor's brother Dante is handling the West Coast transition. Gabriella is managing the real estate holdings. Maria and her husband are working on the restaurant business, making it fully legal. It's not perfect. There are still shadows, still danger. But every day, Victor chooses Elena and their future over the empire and the past. And Elena chooses to trust him, to believe in the man behind the reputation. Sometimes, late at night, Elena thinks about that day in her shop when Victor walked through her door. How terrified she was, how certain she was making a mistake. She was right to be terrified. Victor Castellano changed her entire life, turned her world upside down, forced her to confront truths she'd been avoiding. But she was wrong about the mistake. Because saying yes to Victor wasn't a mistake. It was the best decision she ever made. He's not perfect, neither is she, but together they're building something that matters. Something real and beautiful and worth fighting for. And if Elena has learned anything from her craft, it's that the most beautiful creations often come from broken pieces carefully stitched back together. She was broken. Victor was broken. But together, they're whole. And that's more than enough. The end. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you loved this story, check out the other videos on your screen now. I think you'll really enjoy them. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next story.